We're we're live in the Pizza Motorcast. This is Dave, and I'm on the line with Fran Peppler, former jet buddy car driver, the Rock and Roll Thunder. Hey, Fran.
Hey, good evening. How are you doing tonight?
Good. So, how long has it been since you retired from driving that car, Fran?
It's been 4 years already. 2012. So we retired. So it's been 4 years, and I miss it dramatically. I miss it so much.
So what got you into drag racing anyway?
When my husband and I first got married, he built his own first car that he ever wanted. And I always wanted to drive it. He never would let me. And finally, he sold his car. We did the family stuff. We opened our own business. And then finally one day I said, I really want to drive. And he built me my first Supercom dragster in 1992. And it just progressed from that point on.
So what year did you start driving the Rock and Roll Thunder?
In 1996. I started with the Supercom car in 1992. And then in 1993, he built me another car. I moved up to Top Dragster. And then the end of 93, he built me my first alcohol funny car. And then I ran that until we bought the Rock and Roll Thunder. And then after I got my license in the Rock and Roll Thunder is when we sold my other car was called the Pepper Shaker. It was an alcohol funny car.
So how did you come up with the name Rock and Roll Thunder?
Actually, I didn't come up with the name. We bought the name with the car from the Duffman Brothers. They were out of Canton, Ohio. And they said that we can keep the name with it since they've always had it with the car. So we kept the name in their honor.
Then later on, didn't you change the design on the car?
We've had several different designs on the car. When we purchased the car from them, the car was red and yellow. And then we turned it to a bright pink, to show that it was a female. And then we changed the design on it after that. We put lightning bolts on there. For Halloween, we put a rock and roll witch on there. And then we changed it, and we had a MySix company that was sponsoring us as a marketing company. And then we changed it to the paint scheme that he wanted. And then in I remember the year, 2007 or 2008, I don't quite remember the exact years, when Estrada Customs contacted us and wanted to sponsor us, and that was the last paint scheme that we had on the vehicle, the paint scheme that they developed.
Mm-hmm. Did the car always have the no balls my ass on the back of it?
Yes, it did. So did my other cars. I came up with that saying because the guy told me I didn't have what it took to be a race car driver, and fortunately, I beat him almost every time I raced him, so I was happy about that. So
what are some of your best memories you have when you were driving the jet car?
Just running the country. I mean, from coast to coast, the people you meet, the organizations that you run with, the track promoters you deal with. We ran all Super Chevy shows for, I think, 7 or 8 years. We ran hot rod shows with them guys, and just every place we went to, it was just phenomenal. I mean, and then you went to the same places every year, just about. But I probably have to say the best moments is our home track at the Great Lakes Dragway. That's where our big family is, and it's always great times there. With people, Broadway Bob, everybody, Randy Henning, and just a great facility to be racing at.
So do you ever go up there and visit Great Lakes at all anymore?
No, I haven't been up there since we left. My last race there was in September of 2011, and unfortunately I got hurt from our trailer, not from the race car. I got hurt from the trailer, so I could not race that weekend, so we left because I hurt both of my legs. So that was the last time we were there.
Yeah, me and the wife were up there on Labor Day weekend for the Time Machine Ash show. I wore your shirt. People were commenting on the shirt.
All right, I love it. I still get a lot of pictures. People sending me when they're out and about, giving me thumbs up all the time. I love it.
Now, when you got on the starting line, besides Great Lakes Dragway, did you always have the AC/DC song playing?
Yes, I did.
So that was like your staple.
Yes, it was. Yes. And even now when I hear the song, I still get the chills, and it just imagining myself sitting in the car and doing the fire show and the burner pops and just all the fun stuff on the starting line when I heard that song playing, when I could hear it playing.
So who did you enjoy racing against when you were driving the jet car?
I would have to say everybody, because every place you went, you raced somebody different, except for like Super Chevy. I pretty much raced the same person all the time. The Hot Rod, it was the same way. All these independent tracks, you always race somebody different. But I would have to say the best part is when you win. It doesn't matter who you race as long as you get the win lane.
Now, did you ever race any female jet drivers?
Dragsters, yes. I ran Elaine Larson in her jet dragster. But I believe her and I were the only two at the time when I did race against her. And I raced her a couple of times. I raced her in Kentucky, and I raced her in Cordova. And all the other times it was all, male drivers.
I think I saw that on YouTube, the video against you and her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, really, it's great that, we like each other. We knew each other for a really long time before she even got her car. We knew them. And, but running a dragster against a funny car, you really don't have any. The dragster has a much better advantage, obviously, because they do go faster. They're lighter weight, and their speed limit's higher. But, it's fun anyway. Still, it doesn't matter. It's just all fun. As long as we're safe. Safety is the first key.
Yeah. When I had the shirt on, Barry Richter said something about it. I forgot what he said, though.
Pardon me?
I said when I had the shirt on Labor Day weekend, Barry Richter had said something about the shirt, but I forgot the comment he made.
I loved racing those guys. We had so much fun racing each other. Because he did have the quicker car. Just I had a really good reaction time on the starting line. And I beat a lot of the fast cars that were out there because I caught such a great reaction time. And, they beat me too, because they're a faster car. But him and I once we got on the starting line, we were so competitive, but we're good friends, I love that guy. I love his balance. Everything about their team is great. Great people.
And I know you raced Danny Sullivan a bunch of times.
I think a couple of times, against him. But, once again, it's, another dragster against a funny car. And, they give you the advantage, but, once you get off track, they're gone. They can beat you up, but it's still fun. It's still fun when you line up against each other. And the best part is when you get out of the car to jump in, and everybody gets a hug. It doesn't matter who you are, you get a hug. Because we're all there and we're all there safe.
Did you ever race against any, Nitro funny cars?
I did, but it's so long ago, I don't remember who it was. I mean, I ran against the Grocery Getter. I ran against Arnie the Farmer Beswick. Oh my gosh, there's so many, I can't even think of them off the top of my head. I ran against Bunny Burkett out in where are they from? Bunny Burkett. She runs the alcohol funny car. I ran against her. Another great team. Oh my gosh, I can't even think. I ran so many people. I ran against so many.
So when you were running, how many crew members? I know your husband was on your crew. Was that the only crew member you had for the car?
Yes, and our daughter, when she could come to our local track, anything, that was a distance, obviously she couldn't go, school was more important. But our daughter and my mother, when she was here, she came out with us, just did all the cooking and, make sure we all had what we needed and, took care of my fire suit and all that fun stuff. And our daughter would come out and clean the car and clean the wheels and do fun stuff like that just to be part of the team. And then on the starting line, she helped my husband on the starting line. Because he always needed help with the pole and cleaning the windows, especially when it got dewy outside. We had to protect the windows, and she always took care of that stuff. And from the time she was a very young girl, I believe she was 11 or 12 when we got the car, she's always been right on and has kept focused and always made sure that she was safe and obeyed our rules for her to be safe on that starting line and in the pit as well. But she's been, out racing with us since basically she was 7 years old when I started racing. So, I mean, she's had a love for it. She's always wanted to do it. But when we actually were going to train her one weekend, my husband and I ended up in a bad car accident on our way home. So we had to put that off, and it was already the fall. So we were going to wait till the springtime. We were going to start teaching her how to drive the jet car. And at that time, she met her boyfriend and got engaged, and her now husband says no, she can't drive. So that was the reason why we sold the car, because he did not want her to drive, and there's no reason, because I did not want to get back in the car after 2012.
Yeah, I remember at Great Lakes, the announcer was talking about your daughter was going to go for a jet license.
Yes. We were going to be the first mom and daughter team to race against each other, and it just, you know, if we didn't get in that bad car accident on our way home that one Saturday, she would be in the car today. But, you know, things happen for a reason, I guess. But at least we all came well safe, so that's most important.
Did you do any mechanical work on the car when it was running?
You know, no, my husband would not allow anybody to touch the car, because even when we had it in our shop, nobody was allowed to touch our car, because he knew exactly what was done to it and what needed to be done. He took care of it, and he didn't have to second guess anybody's work or, you know, forgetfulness or whatever. He just would not let anybody touch it. I got to take care of the seat belts. It was fun.
So did hubby pack the chutes, or did your daughter pack the chutes?
No, I packed my own shoes. I packed them all. My husband had to help me get them into the bag, because they're so long, they're 40-foot long ropes. But once, you know, I did all the folding, I did all the prepping, because there's a certain way to prep them, and I did all of that. And my daughter would just come and she would help me, you know, with the baby powder, and because we would tape the lines so they wouldn't get tangled when you're trying to put them into the bag. So she would help do that stuff. But as far as packing them, I did that. And unfortunately, in 2000, I did have a double parachute failure, and I did crash. And it was because we ran an 8-mile track, and there was no wind that night, and the parachute was just too heavy to do what it's supposed to do in the 8th mile versus the quarter mile. And when I didn't feel the main parachute open, I grabbed the secondary, because we didn't use them both at the same time. And they both got tangled, and both of them actually ripped right off of the car. And that was not pretty. I ended up upside down, smashed into the guardrail. But I walked away. The car needed a lot of repairs. The engine was fine. The body needed a lot of repairs done to it. But we got it back together within 2 weeks, and we were back on the road going to our next hot rod show in Kentucky.
Was that the only accident you've ever had?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the great thing was that I walked away from it. I wasn't, no bruises, no cuts, no nothing. No soreness even the next day. And I just, because I you know, I'm grateful for all the safety equipment that we wear. It did its job. It protected me. The roll cage, everything did what it was supposed to do. And I was able to walk away from it.
That's very good. Who'd you get your fire suits made from? Was it Simpson?
Yes, it was all Simpson. Yeah. They came out with that new fire suit back in like the mid-2007 or 8. Fabulous fire suit. Fabulous. And just great fire suit.
So if you were to go back the years before you started drag racing, what would have been your alternate career?
I would have started in the jet car sooner. I would not have even started out in the comp car or anything like that. I always wanted to race. I've always had a love for speed. My very first personal car was a 67 Chevelle. I mean, I loved cars. And after I met my husband, that's when I really got into them. And so I wish I could have went right into the jet car and proceeded my career from my beginning, rather than, you know, waiting till 1996. And the only reason why I waited was because our daughter was so young, and she loved to watch them, but she was so afraid of them. So when she was ready, you know, she's like, okay, Mommy, you know, now it's time. You know, go get the car. I know what it's about now. So that's why we waited till 1996.
So did you have any jet cars that you watched that inspired you before you started driving a jet car?
Oh, yeah. Danny Sullivan was my first, and then Roger Gustin was my first in a funny car. Danny Sullivan was my first in a dragster, and I was always inspired by Danny, always. And he knows it too, because I always tell him.
How about Doug Rose?
You know, I really never had the opportunity to really get to know him. I've seen him a couple of times at some of the races, but, you know, you get so involved with all the fans and, you know, what you need to do to prep and everything that you need to do while you're there that I never really got to really know him. But inspired by him, yeah. What, you know, he's been around for a long, long time and has done a great job for the racing industry.
Yeah, Broadway Bob will be sitting on the nose of that jet dragster.
Yes. And you want to hear a funny story about Broadway Bob and I?
Sure.
It's not a funny story. It's a very unique story. When you license for your jet license, you have to have an NHRA official. I'll brief you. You have to be your very last session for your jet license. You have to have an NHRA official present. Well, we ended up doing our last session at Great Lakes Dragaway, which I was very grateful. All the other drivers that came in signed for me, plus Shay Hollinger was supposed to come from Division 3. Well, we're waiting and waiting and waiting on this particular day. We chose to do our final runs, and all of a sudden here comes Broadway Bob in his Cadillac convertible, waving a piece of paper over by our pit area. And we're like, "Hi, Bob, what's this?" He goes, "I am the NHRA official today to sign for your license." And NHRA said that if anybody's seen more jet cars go down the track, nobody's seen them more than Broadway Bob. And I was the first and only person Broadway Bob ever signed a jet license for. And I had a really nice bond from that. Very nice.
Did he have the can of beer in his hand too?
When we were done, he was working and he had to be professional. He even came out in his suit. It was really cute.
So for as far as tracks used at Great Lakes, was your favorite track to run on?
Oh yes. Mm-hmm. I started racing my first car there, and you know that's when Broadway Bob used to own the track. And then when Randy, Ray, and Marcel took over, you know they still had us come back every year, and they ended up. Actually, we ended up racing there all the way through till we left in 2012. We were there for all the big events that they had, and then we did like Bucks Fest and Import Wars, Night of Fire, and just all kinds. Sometimes we did 5-6 events a year there.
So currently, right now, is anyone driving that car?
Yes, a fella bought it. He lives in Sterling, Illinois, and he changed it. It's now called the General Jet. And it looks like the General Lee. It's orange. And he basically, I haven't talked to him, and nobody has said anything, but all I've heard is that he basically has only been staying local at Cordova, but I don't know anything about what he's done to the car other than he changed the body on it, and that he's been running there. I don't know any times he's turning with it. I don't know any details.
So what was the fastest run time you had in the jet car?
My fastest time was 284 and a 569, and it was in Rockingham, North Carolina. Okay. It was for a hot rod show.
Okay, so what type of fuel did you use for the car? Was it propane?
No, actually, we use kerosene with the additives in it to make it be equivalent to a Jet A. But when we go to Florida, we used to be able to go to the airport there right near Moroso, and we'd be able to buy the jet fuel, which was great because we'd get the fuel we'd use for the weekend, and then we'd bring home more fuel for our next race because it worked the best, and we couldn't get Jet A here. We could get it in Wisconsin, in Kenosha. We were able to get it there at their airport. But after 9/11, we couldn't get security into the airports no longer, so that's when we went to the actual kerosene with the additives.
Oh, okay. So when you were drag racing, did you have any other hobbies outside of drag racing?
Gardening. I love to garden. We had 2 acres of property, and I did all the landscaping, everything myself. I love to garden. It's so relaxing to me and peaceful, and just, I loved it. So, but I gave that up too now. I'm retired from gardening, and I'm just being a grandmother right now, enjoying life and enjoying my retirement and enjoying my 2 granddaughters.
Yeah. How old are your 2 granddaughters?
Riley is 5 and Chloe is 3.
Would you ever consider taking them to drag racing?
We're trying. We're trying to ride for Junior Dragster. She's 5. We only have 3 more years to go, and my son-in-law still is saying no, but we still got some time to work on it.
Yeah. Have you ever taken them to a drag race yet?
No, I have not. My daughter just started showing them videos and talking about it to the older one about a year and a half ago. And so, now she understands it. The now question is, where was I when Mommy and Daddy were at the track with you? Well, you were with your other grandparents. I didn't know what to tell you with your other grandparents. Not that you weren't thought of, but... So, and she watches the videos all the time, the older one. The younger one just knows that it's Nana's race car. That's all she knows. It's Nana's race car. Well, I think they both would be good at it because they're both so ambitious. When they watch the car, you can just see them. Go, Nana, go! It's like, oh.
You're almost done.
So I think I'm about out of questions, Fran. Thank you for doing the interview.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you keeping us in mind. And good luck to you guys. And I hope to maybe see you sometime. Maybe we'll be back out there with the Junior Dragster, I hope.
Okay, we'll look forward to seeing that.
Okay, thank you so much, Dave. You have a great evening
You
now.
too. You too. Bye-bye.